Hey family, this is Reginald Martin of Comedic Centered Living, where ancient wisdom becomes modern awakening. Let's talk about mindset, okay, and talking about the power of the mind to really shift your reality. And this is how I want to look at this, is just in the context of how we live our lives and the things that happen in our lives and how we perceive those things, okay? And this is a lesson for me that I learned, it was over 25 years ago, I know, because it was right after my divorce that I was at work, and family, every single day around 2 o'clock or somewhere thereabouts in the early afternoon, it was like I would just get so weak that I'd almost fall, you know. It was like my energy was just zapped to a point to where I just felt like just weak, and I couldn't even hardly walk, you know. Just, it might happen for just like a split second where just like my energy was just zapped, and then I could, you know, then I would pick up and keep going. But it just happened so regularly. My heart would start to palpitate, you know. And, you know, having been an athlete, man, when your ticker starts to doing some things, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. So, you know that's your pump, you know. So I started getting worried. So what I ended up doing was going to the doctor and just, started explaining to the doctor what I was going through and everything. And the doctor says, what you're dealing with is anxiety and depression. You know, that's what you're going through, and that's basically how it's manifesting in your body. You know, that's what's zapping your energy. So what she told me at that point is what I could do is I could prescribe some Xanax, and it was something else. She offered me like 2 different types of anxiety medication. And, you know, I had never had any experience with that anxiety medication, so I knew intuitively that was just not the road for me to go down. So what I ended up doing was I looked at her, and at this point, family, I had not studied the stuff that I know. I had not looked at the metaphysical stuff. It was just something inside me just said, you know, and I looked at her and I said, you know, Doc, I said, I appreciate that, but I said, God and me is in control of my attitude, okay? I don't need any medicine. And at that point, family, you know, I thanked the doctor for their time, and I walked out of that office. And from that day forward, I didn't have those heart palpitations and all that stuff again at work, okay? Now, that didn't mean I didn't get depressed again at some point, because shit, life happens. But for that particular instance, family, my attitude, my inner attitude about what was happening to me, once I became aware of it, my attitude shifted, okay? And I was no longer, I didn't allow those thoughts, and I'm guessing that they were thoughts, because I can't even remember actually thinking about things. I just knew I was low because, you know, I was going through some stuff, you know. Man, I was losing my home, having to move from my home, having to get an apartment, moving out with my kids, disconnecting from my neighbors, just my friends. So everything that was me at that time, the divorce just ripped it away, okay? So it was heavy for me, family. But my point to this is that it's our attitude and our mentality shapes the reality that we have. And my reality before then is that I was helpless. Everything was just being taken away from me, you know. I was angry, man. I mean, I was bitter, you know, just going through all of that stuff. And even going through that, family, that was the same situation where I learned about forgiveness, So again, this is about our attitude, because, in Christianity, you were taught to be, pious and forgive, just forgive a person for whatever. But family, I was so freaking angry. I did not want to forgive, and I did not care to forgive. I was in pain. I wanted them in pain too. My ex-wife at the time, because I just didn't think I was treated right. But anyway, I won't get into all of that. But so what I had to learn was, and well, it wasn't that I learned. It was like, I don't know, man, maybe a couple of years that I was just angry and bitter about what I thought, how I thought I felt I was wronged, okay? And I never was able to communicate with this person, okay? So reconciling with them on some level was not possible, okay? And so we couldn't talk to each other, or wouldn't talk to each other. So what I ended up realizing was that I was holding on to the anger, but she was going on and living her life, footloose and fancy free, doing her thing. Wasn't worrying about me. I was worried about her, angry, but she wasn't worried about me. Well, what I realized was real quickly was that she was fine. At least it looked like that on the outside to me. She was fine. I was hurt. I was angry. I was bitter. I was holding on to all of that pain inside of me. And the only person in pain was me, because she didn't give a damn about me. I wasn't hurting her. And that's where I think I stumbled on that saying, holding on to anger is like holding on to poison and expecting the other person to die. So at that point, I had to forgive myself for feeling duped, because I was feeling like I was duped. I was betrayed. Just a lot of things I was dealing with her that I was angry about. But I ended up having to just forgive myself and recognize that there was nothing I was going to be able to do to change her. She was not going to ever say, I'm sorry. She was not going to ever say, come back to me and say, I did you wrong. She was never going to do that. And to this day, family, 25 years later, the woman still hasn't. Okay? So I could have been hanging on to that pain and anger for 25 years. But I learned, nope, I gotta forgive me. It wasn't about her. I didn't care. It wasn't about forgiving her, because she was not the issue. It was my attitude towards the issue that was the problem. So it was a shift in attitude that I needed in order to help heal, okay? In order to release the pain, in order to release the anger. So it was definitely about just really switching our internal reactions, or in my case, my internal reaction to the situation. And family, that's a lesson that, I would hope that you would gain from this is that you can hang on to all the hate and angriness and bitterness and all of that stuff. But the person out there, the ones that you're mad at, they ain't feeling shit. Plain and simple. They're not feeling anything. You are. You're the one in pain. And if you keep on recycling that pain, family, it's going to affect you. I was recycling that pain. That's why I was going through that stage of depression and anxiety. I was recycling that pain and anger every day. I wasn't even consciously aware of what was going on. I just knew that in the afternoon, seemed like every day, my heart started palpitating and I would just get weak, just energetically just feeling drained. And it was what I was doing to myself. Okay, family? So Our perception about the events in our lives, family, are monumental. That is how we that's how we experience life, is through our perceptive mechanisms, okay? And you are in control of that mechanism. So any pain and anger that you're holding on to, family, figure out how to reconcile it. I don't know how to tell you to do that, because I'm not with you, okay? You know, if I was talking with you, you know, I could give you some avenues to go down to try and reconcile it. But you have to figure that out, and you have the ability to figure that out, family. So let it go. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. That was a major realization for me, for real. All right, family. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on my walk. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. Reginald Martin, out.